Hey, beautiful souls, and welcome to the weekly reading for May 15th through 21st, 2022. I am Joyful Medium Joy Giovanni, and I help people step out of overwhelm and into love through sharing my gifts as a medium, a psychic, and through intuitive coaching. And I hope you will check out my website, joyfulmedium.com. Lots of exciting things happening there and some big announcements coming soon. As I'm just making a mess over here. Okay, let me dip you guys down and we will get into the reading. Just taking a look at the energies, potentials, and possibilities for this week. As usual, I pre-shuffled just in the interest of time. Wow, this is so crazy. We're seeing some of the same cards that we've seen, and I'm using a different deck than I used last week. So this 10 of Swords, are you worrying about something that you don't need to be worrying about? Are you, in effect, going to make self-fulfilling prophecies because you're expecting the worst, or you just can't be hopeful in a situation? If you can't get yourself from negative mindset to hopeful and positive mindset, at least see if you can get yourself to more neutral, more, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know the outcome, instead of XYZ fearful outcome is sure to happen. So this is worries and sleepless nights, but it's by our own causing. Maybe you are just like this girl in this picture and you're checking your phone and checking up on somebody and thinking they're doing something that you don't know at all that that's what's happening. It could be about a situation. It could be about a person. It really just depends. This is a general reading, so the energy will present differently in each of our lives. It's all different lives. What is crossing or blocking this situation? 7 of Pentacles. Now, if you look, she has got a pretty good crop growing, right? This tree is fruitful. She's clearly watering it and nurturing it, but look at how her face looks. She doesn't look very happy. 7 is often about choices. This is just really, what are the choices that you made that are making you worry? Have you been tending to your, whatever it is you're growing? And again, Pentacles is a suit of coins, which often has to do with money, could be from clients, could be from work that you do, could be from a lawsuit, an inheritance, could be buying a home, could be selling something, things that more have to do with our material goods and needs. So if you're not happy, if you're worried, and if you're stressed out, is it because of an action you did or didn't do? Is it because of something that you're just unsure about? Meaning, like, did you think you wanted it? You think you wanted to harvest pentacles, but actually you wanted to harvest peaches and you planted pentacles and now you don't have peaches. So is what you're worried about from a choice that you made previously, a choice you're making right now? And can you make a different choice to kind of adjust that outcome? So you're not just worried about it, but you're more in action, like actionable steps, than just sitting back and worrying. So really watch how much you're just sitting back and worrying. Queen of Swords. Now this queen, all the queens are very loving energy, but this queen is the most cut and dry, decisive. So she has kindness with her, but she's also going to tough love you where it needs to be. She's going to call a spade, is the way we say it in Boston. Really needing to just be very honest with yourself. Cut out what is not serving you, what is not towards your goal or towards what you ultimately want. 7, like I said, is often about choices. Maybe there is some extra expenditure that you don't need. Maybe there's some fluff. Maybe there's something that's stressing you out that you can just cut out. It doesn't mean it's going to be the most comfortable or the easiest, but it's something that you know in your mind is necessary to just let go of. So really just being very honest and direct with yourself this week about what needs to go. It could be a person, it could be a situation, it could be an unnecessary expense. Again, this will show up a little different for each of us, but what needs to go, what needs some tough love in your life. The Star. We actually saw this in the same position last week, but it was upright and now it is reversed. So are you taking a couple steps backwards as it relates to your faith, as it relates to you knowing that there is this cycle in life, there is this balance, there is a guiding light even in the darkness for you? Have you taken a step back and forgotten that? And that's why you're so worried. That's why you're kind of making yourself up at night worrying, having these sleepless nights, because you've forgotten, oh yeah, there's stars to guide me. have you learned this lesson in the past? Maybe last week you didn't pay attention to that guidance from outside of yourself or even from inside of yourself. And so this week you're just being reminded like, hey, how'd that work out for you? Not so well, you want to do it differently. So just drawing on those lessons that you've learned before about what happens when you forget that you've got guidance, that you've got this internal intuition, this navigation system. What happens when you forget about that? What are the lessons you've already learned? The highest good is 10 of Pentacles is like a really positive card. This is, look, it's a happy family. They've got plenty of abundance. They've got an abundance of love between them. It seems like they're sharing an abundance of time and resources. So the thing that you really, in these choices, in this wrestling and struggling, in this cutting out and letting go, this is really what you're working towards, an abundance of, sure, maybe financial means might be a part of it, but bigger than that, an abundance of love, an abundance of family. And that doesn't have to mean family of origin. It can mean family that we choose for ourselves, close friends, partners, people that we choose to be in our space, an abundance of other resources, not just money, although with this card, money can be included in that. So just remember where your goal is, what your heart's actual desire is. And that might help you kind of cut out what's not in alignment or not in integrity with your highest good, this plan for abundance, true happiness, wealth in more than just a monetary sense, wealth of, resources and time. Time is our most precious resource. It's not replenishable at all. So knowing that this is where you want to go and where you want to be, what is not serving you in here and what is not in alignment, what is out of alignment with, your true desires, and just seeing if you can put it in perspective that way. And it might help you clear up this wrestling and questioning, make these choices, and we'll just cut out whatever you need to. Right around the corner for you, Two of Swords. Two of Swords often indicates a choice. Now, this can be two different things. She's got that blindfold on. The blindfold's also seen in the Justice card, and it represents blind justice. So with this choice, are you just trying to be impartial and trying to make the most neutral, intelligent, best choice possible? Or are you wearing a blindfold because you don't want to really be honest with yourself about the options? You're being called to really just get honest with yourself. These waters back here are turbulent, so that often can indicate that it's a little bit of an uncomfortable choice. But rather than wrestling and having sleepless nights and going back and forth with it, just try to get really honest and clear with yourself about, okay, what are the choices in this situation, and which one, not necessarily even which choice do I want the most, but which choice is in the most alignment, the most integrity with the vision that I hold for my life, for my highest good, for my greatest expression in this lifetime. That is just around the corner for you, that type of a choice. So just to be aware of coming into your space probably this week. Okay, let's get a little bit more guidance. This one again, we're seeing this card. Okay. So you in the situation, what's your part in all of this? The ego. I know we just talked about this a couple weeks ago, guys, and this is no one's favorite card in the deck. It's not a bad card. It's just letting us know, hey, are you making choices and decisions from a place of integrity, alignment with your true north, right? Your guiding light, your intuition, what you really have as a vision for your highest potential in this lifetime? Or are you making choices out of fear? Maybe she's growing pentacles because she's always grown pentacles and she's afraid to grow peaches because it's a different thing and her ego is holding her back. So don't let your ego hold you back from making choices, tough choices sometimes, but being, really cut and dry about what is in alignment and integrity with the highest expression of you, who you want to step more fully into, and what is not. So that is you in the situation. And this feels, major arcana can mean it's a pretty pivotal thing that we get this lesson. Now, other people in the situation, 7 of Fire, which is 7 of Wands. What's tough about this card is it sometimes can indicate, it's again a choice, because we're looking at lots of choice and lots of decision this week, but it can be that someone else in a situation, and it can be a person or it can be a circumstance, someone else is not willing to let go of what they feel like they built or what they fought for, what they have hard earned. And it might be time to let some of these old, it could even be ideas about the way that we run things, and they just might be wanting to fight you on this and not willing to let go. Defend your beliefs and decisions, stand your ground, choose your battles wisely. But remember, this is an external influence in the situation. So not you, but either someone or something else. Maybe you're trying to shift the way we do things, the way we process, the way we treat each other. And because of, that's the way the world's been in a negative way, things are harder to shift. Could be something like that, like totally external from you, not a person at all. Or it could be a person that's just having a hard time getting on board with your vision for your life. Remember, you're to choose what's in alignment with you and with the highest expression of you in this lifetime, what your soul is calling you to do, and not responsible for keeping something together because that's the way it's always been, or because that's what someone else wants. That's my little mini lecture about that. A little bit more guidance for us. Release. Release, this in traditional tarot is actually the death card. And I don't want you to think of death as like scary. Death is like release, which is why this card has been shifted to release, because it's just a different message, right? Death isn't always a physical death. Sometimes it's a falling away of an old paradigm, right? The way we used to accept being treated versus the way things are now. And sometimes something needs to fall away so something new can grow. It's why we prune our trees so that new growth and new flowers can come, new fruit, right? Like you see in this card. So don't freak out if something needs to fall away this week. End of a phase or situation, spiritual transformation, time to move on. And that's what this Queen of Swords, is all about, is just cutting out what doesn't serve, cutting out what is not in alignment with our goals. And sometimes that means we have to release a situation, a belief system, we have to transform. It could be lots of different versions of that, but just don't be afraid of the falling away is what I want to say. Don't be afraid to release what's old. And we can even release it in like, I'm grateful that this is who I used to be. This is who I want to step into more fully now. I'm going to release these old beliefs or this old version of myself to be more fully myself, and that's okay. And our last little guidance on this side, Knight of Air reversed. And again, remember, we saw this Knight recently also reversed, can indicate that, so that this Knight of Air moves very quickly. So when it's reversed, it can mean, things just drudging on, moving slowly. Maybe you're trying to release someone or something and just kind of cut them off and they won't go easily. It could be something like that. It can be things just taking longer than we felt. I'm going to read this to you, even though it's in reverse, so the meaning's not quite the same. Events that occur with great speed, take time to carefully review your options, creative solutions. This can mean that maybe you're on a timeline to make a choice and maybe you don't like the timeline, or maybe it's the 1 step forward, 2 steps back, where you thought you were moving this forward and it's taking longer than you thought. So just for me this week, this card just indicates, what you need to do, what you need to cut out, truly, what is in integrity and what choices are in alignment with this happy, abundant life that you want. Don't get too caught up in the timeline. Don't get too caught up in, I thought it was going to happen last year and, all of that. Don't get too caught up in that. Sometimes things move fast. Sometimes they move slow. There's a cycle to things. So if you make some choices and it doesn't make things move fast as you thought, or there's a lot of stop-start around it, just don't be alarmed about that is what I want to say. Okay. Having some coffee today, guys. I just take a little sip of that. Okay, I'm going to put these to the side, clear these out for us. And as we normally do right now, I'm just going to invite you, if you're in a place that is safe to do so, Take a big inhale, and as you exhale, just let one person from the spirit world just pop into your mind. It could be someone you normally think of, or it could be someone that you don't normally think of, and just let this message be from whoever that might be. My death was my death was painless. Please don't worry or hold on to guilt. My death was painless. Please don't worry or hold on to guilt. You know, with doing mediumship readings, whether it's a private one-on-one reading or in a group demonstration setting, people often that are in the living still have concerns about the way our loved ones make transition. Were they scared? Were they in a lot of pain, especially if we couldn't get to them or we felt like they were alone? So this is just your loved one. And I love when they bring these kinds of messages, when they really share their heart with us in this way, that they just want you to know, please don't worry or hold on to any guilt, that their passing was painless. And let's just get one more little bit of guidance, contemplation. I think this goes right along with what we've been talking about, just them inviting you. Look at her, she's dreaming off in the distance. She's got this butterfly crown, which butterflies, you know, are all about transformation. This lion here and a little lion in the background being about strength, that we're supported, that we have strength. This is that release, that transition, that transformation. So really think about, what do you actually want? What do you want for your future? What is your vision? What is your soul calling you towards as the highest and greatest expression for you in this lifetime, the most abundant expression of your soul? So really just giving yourself some time to process and think about that this week. So I hope these messages resonated with you. I am so glad that you're joining me. Let me know in the comments how you are. You guys know I love to hear from you. I will talk to you soon. Big hugs and bye for now.